kind of over the idea of financial freedom. Not because I don't think that it's great or because it's a worthy goal, but because it puts me in the wrong mindset. The idea of financial freedom is simple. If you hit your number where your passive income covers your living expenses, then you are free to do whatever you want. That's the dream, right? But here's the problem I have. Financial freedom isn't as free as it sounds. Mind you, I say this as someone who does not personally feel financially free and who certainly has not hit her financial freedom number. But I must say that the pattern seems clear, is that freedom is kind of not what it's cracked up to be. And so whether you're looking at the OGs of the FIRE movement, the financial independence, retire early, or when I look at my own family who have reached traditional retirement. And so before I continue on with my ideas about financial freedom, hi, my name is Sabrina, and I am failing forward in real estate to build a more durable life. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the challenges of the idea of financial freedom and why the idea of a durable life is a better fit for me and why it might be a better fit for you too. So let's get into it. The first reason that I prefer durability over freedom is because words have meaning. So freedom is often defined as having endless options and choices. You know, the freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want. And durability is defined as the ability to withstand for a long period of time and being able to hold up under stress. And so I guess for me, I think that freedom is more of something that you get or that you achieve. Whereas durability is something, a quality maybe, that I want to develop and to become. And so putting this into the context of real estate, with freedom, I think about the number of deals, the amount of cash flow, because that's what fuels the freedom, right? But with durability, I think about dealing with risk, being patient, navigating unexpected consequences, and developing new skills. And so I'll give you an example. So right now I'm working on agent reach out. So I've got to make a certain number of calls to agents daily. And I still get nervous and don't feel like doing it all the time. And the freedom framing has me think, no, you have to call these agents, because if you don't call the agents, then you won't get the deals. And if you don't have the deals, you won't get the cash flow. If you don't have the cash flow, you won't be free. And that's a bit exhausting and not super motivating sometimes. But what I've leaned on recently is a more durable frame, and it's simple. I call because I call. I'm developing the skill of doing things when I'm uncomfortable, of not knowing exactly how things are going to go, maybe not knowing what I'm going to say. But I call because I call, and that's it. And so that's why I prefer this idea of durability. So it's not like an escape or a destination or a gold star to achieve. I want a life that can bend and pivot and take the punches without breaking. So the second limitation I have with the idea of freedom is the number itself, right? And so remember, your freedom number is when your passive income covers your living expenses. And don't get me wrong, this is a really helpful place to start, but it feels a bit fragile because it seems like it would be easy then to fall out of freedom. You know, if you move to a more expensive place, if you or someone else gets sick, if you just want to kind of get out of the really strict frugal lifestyle and spend a bit more money. So that idea of kind of constantly being able to teeter on the edge of freedom or freedom being able to be lost at any moment is a limitation. And so But this idea of the freedom number is where I started, right? I think I followed the FIRE movement. But what it did was it led me to think exclusively on cutting expenses. How do I get my housing down? How do I get my groceries down? Oh my gosh, somebody asked me for money. Are they going to ruin me? And so I am a proponent of frugality and minimalism, but moving forward financially is about both reducing expenses and increasing your income. Removing that freedom number, or at least loosening my grip on it, and thinking more about durability has allowed me to internalize the idea of increasing my income, which has led me to spend money on education and coaching, to try strategies like flipping houses, and to start thinking of real estate as a business and identifying skills gaps needed to actually earn money. Okay, so both the framing, so words have meaning, and the kind of fragility of the freedom number lead me to prefer durability. But there are also two psychological traps of financial freedom that many have fallen into. And the first one is the identity crisis. And so we as humans tend to form identities around things. And so an identity is just the way that we see ourselves and ourselves in relation to others. And so a lot of people set this big goal of financial freedom. And when they hit it, they don't know what to do with themselves. Work was their identity, and without it, they feel lost. Or the path of financial freedom, extreme saving was their identity. And now they have to switch to actually spending that money and covering those expenses. And you see these examples with some of the OGs of the FIRE movement. Mr. Money Mustache, the Mad Scientist, wrote blogs about this years ago. And so it seems like this idea of swapping identities is really difficult. Going from worker to retired, saver to spender, unfree to free. And so instead, I think the idea of kind of accumulating ideas sounds kind of cool. So I am a W-2 employee and I'm an entrepreneur. I save a percentage of my money for these reasons, but I spend money for these other reasons. And so I think durability, that notion of lasting over time, is based on this more flexible idea of self. And so I'm neither free nor unfree, but I both move and am constrained on this path of who I'm becoming. And this idea of moving while being constrained leads to the psychological trap number 2, which is the paradox of choice. The paradox of choice is this really bizarre thing that we as humans experience, where when we have more and more options, we can actually feel more unhappy and less satisfied. And so it's really that some level of constraint is really good for our well-being. And this tends to occur because of this kind of tendency to maximize. When you've got all of the options, you want to make sure that you are making the right one. And so we end up, or we can be less happy with the thing that we chose because we're like, wait, could we have done better? Should we have done something differently? Boundless freedom to do what you want when you want sounds good. But it might just leave you doing nothing because you're trying to maximize your freedom once you've achieved it. Or at least a bit of FOMO about the choices that you do make over the things that you didn't decide. I don't know that a durable life limits your options in a real sense, but I think it at least provides me with some sort of decision rule. Rules like I choose projects that let me learn new skills, or I'll lean into things that scare me a little bit. And so instead of just kind of boundless options floating around trying to figure out the maximum best thing, I at least have a decision rule that says I'm gonna do the thing that pushes me a bit, helps me develop, and and keeps me on this, like, building this durable self that can last over time. Durability isn't about limiting your life, but it is about creating a framework or a structure that actually helps you enjoy it without drowning in endless possibility. So that's why I'm not chasing financial freedom. I'm building a durable life, one that bends but doesn't break. And so if you are on your own journey, I'd love to know, which team are you on? Are you team financial freedom or team durable life? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one.